Hello Thrash Heavy Rhythm viewers for the first video of 2021. Sorry it's a little bit late after the new year, but Happy New Year anyway. I hope you're all enjoying it. Either way, it's now time to get into the first video of the year. What I'd like to talk about in this video today is more about essentials like picking rhythms. And picking rhythms and the right hand is totally essential if you want to get into the thrash or any extreme genre of heavy music. So let's look at the basic techniques of picking here. Alright, so the first one, the most obvious one, is down picking. Second one, alternate picking. And the third one, galloping, or triplets otherwise known. It's important to develop each one singular of these three picking rhythms and start off with a slow metronome and do it for a considerable amount of time until, it probably take about 2 or 3 minutes or something like that. Now, of course, to the actual basics of actually developing your picking, to begin with, it's going to be quite difficult to use a metronome to actually get the timing right. So if, let's say you're doing down picking, if you're struggling with the actual technique, don't worry about it too much, but when you start to get stronger in it, then start to bring the metronome in and then start working from there, sort of thing. And there are lots of different ways to actually utilize these picking rhythms. It's like for more advanced stuff, I'll just give you 2 or 3 examples here and there. I'll try to keep it simple. Like if you know your power chords, it's like you can close off your chords like that and the same can be done for pedaling in between the chords, like your alternate stuff. Or on the root note of each chord. The same with your galloping. And more intricately, as we're talking about the different picking rhythms that are more on the single note, scale patterns like that, or chromatic stuff. And for further lessons down the line, I'll go more into depth in stuff like that, and I'll start breaking stuff up and doing separate lessons, because it's a lot better that way to have stuff to work on. But this lesson is about the three picking mechanics, the 3 basics. Because once you have them down, you can mix things up. So the important thing is to get the singular picking motions and to build up the stamina, to build up the endurance and strength, so that you can keep up with fast beats. And an important point I would like to add in here is how crazy things can really get in a thrash band and on stage and whatnot. And sometimes you'll get to know this further into what you're doing here. And I did nearly have a bit of a cramping injury one time, and I had to. But what I'd done to prevent that, I knew it was coming on, but I had to change up my. I had to cheat. For instance, if we look at down picking here, there was one song where things go, worse. Either way, it was, I forget which song it is now, but either way, it had a lot of intricate going, a lot of down picking, and I had to change. I had to. I had to quickly change into alternate picking to keep the same rhythm going and whatnot, and that was the only way to actually avoid getting an injury. So be prepared for things like that. Again, that is a separate lesson as well. I did do a video on it about 3 years ago or something, talking about changing out your picking when things get very intense. But just the basics here. If you've never done this kind of stuff before, focus on these 3 movements and start slowly and work up. Now, like I said, if now when it comes to the metronome, if you're not quite used to using a metronome yet, if you're just beginning your picking technique, sit there and just while you're watching TV or whatnot, just grab don't even plug a guitar in, just sort of just sit there and just develop your picking motions and whatnot, and keep doing that until you're a little bit knackered. Then then of course stretch yourself out and that sort of thing when you finish with it. You're practicing these techniques.